Hey everyone, Stephen Glicker here from Roll from Combat. I just came back from Gen Con as well as San Diego Comic Con. And before I get into the latest controversy from Wizards of the Coast, which I can't believe is happening right during their previews and their greatest triumph in the last couple of years, which was Gen Con 2024, in which they did an actually really good job, I will give you a quick overview of what I saw at Gen Con and also what you'll see in the next couple of weeks on this channel. So first of all, I did go to the WoTC event last Wednesday. I'll tell you all about that. I actually then had dinner with members of the VTT team over at Wizards, and I can tell you all about what's going on with the VTT. And, well, I'll get into that later this week. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to find out all about that. As well as I was able to pick up, oh, are you ready for this? Oh, 5 Players Handbooks. 5 of these suckers. And I'm going to give these out for free. That's right. Over the next month, I'm going to just give them out for free. All you're going to have to do is subscribe to the channel and then watch some of our live shows. We actually have a live show every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I actually have, oh my God, this week's live show, it's insane, the guest I have. I can't even spoil it, but let's just say you're not going to want to miss that. But I'm going to go through how to get one of these for free. I'm just going to take people who are subscribers from our YouTube channel, as well as, a few other little things. But then that's it. I'll pick out your name and I'll send you one of these suckers, as well as all the other information, all the other stuff that came with it. There was actually a little Dungeon Master thing that you put on your badge. We have a little sticker here, got a little coupon, and oh, look at this little die. This all came with the book, and I'm just giving them out for free. I even have a super duper special version. I haven't decided if I'm going to give this one out or keep this one. But that was signed by Jeremy Crawford himself. That's right. This is actually the one I got at the press conference. I also managed to sit at the table with Kelsey Dion and Justin Alexander toward the Ennies when they won 6 Ennies all together. So I'll tell you about that crazy night. Overall, it was every year at Gen Con's pretty crazy, but this was maybe the craziest of all because I seemed to be hanging out with everyone who was winning Ennies, and then I was hanging out with the D&D team a lot, and they were telling me maybe stuff they shouldn't have, but you're going to find out all about that in the next week or so as I continue to release these videos. Anyhow, on to the controversy. So, the big controversy is that just yesterday, Jordan, Jordan, who is a popular YouTuber, got hit with a copyright strike notice because he was flipping through this very book here, the 2024 Players Handbook, and they had him remove his video. And not only that, a copyright strike's pretty major because if you get 3 of them, your channel's deleted. Now, what makes this so insidious and crazy is that he was given the book early to preview, and now other YouTubers who have been doing previews. So basically, just to catch you up, a lot of YouTubers were given the book early. They were actually giving a PDF early, and then they were mailed the book. And then they were told, okay, as of August 1st, you can do previews and reviews of the Player's Handbook. It's what's called embargoing. And after the embargo's up, you can go crazy and do anything you want. So everyone has been releasing the reviews, and you've probably been seeing them all over the place. But then the strange thing happened is that, well, Wizards, or at least a law firm representing Wizards, was putting in copyright strike claims in YouTube, which was then taking down these videos. So suddenly, you'll notice some people's videos are gone. I think D&D Shorts removed his video. Obviously, Jordan with a PH removed his video, or actually wasn't removed. YouTube removed it for him. And now other YouTubers are being kind of careful about this. So let's back up and go through this, because what's interesting about this to me is that people are going to say, okay, oh, WoTC, what are you doing? Well, it's not that cut and dry. And I'm going to explain to you why. It is, well, it's a little bit of everyone's fault in this. And look, I'm not throwing any of the YouTubers under the bus because they probably didn't know, but I'm going to go through this. So I actually, back in previous life, I used to do a lot of video game previews when I did Gaming Steve, the podcast and website, as well as, believe it or not, I was a movie reviewer for a thing called a newspaper. Remember those? So back in the day, whenever you would get previews for something that's out early, such as a movie review or a video game, what happens is the PR company will tell you what you can and can't show. And you've probably seen this, especially if you watch any video game previews, where they'll say, oh, the company told me only to show this section of the video game, or they said, please only show these areas, or only show Act 1. And that's pretty standard practice, is that whenever you have a preview of a product, and in this case, you have a player's handbook that is not coming out for another 7 weeks or so, is that the PR company should have told these YouTubers what they can and can't do and what they can and can't show, because some of them are literally just flipping through the book and showing the book not in its entirety, but showing, vast sections of this book. Well, that didn't happen. Or if it did happen, I'm not aware of it. But what the PR company should have done is said, hey, look, these sections are off limits, only show these pages or only talk about these aspects. Or what they probably would have done is say, hey, look, you can talk about anything you want in the book, but only show these pages on camera. That is what should have happened. I don't think that did happen. So that's the first issue, is that it's a little bit on WoTC, because if they don't tell you this, then how would they know? Now, as for the YouTubers, they might not know, but it's actually pretty standard practice, is that whenever you get something in preview form, at least I do this, I always check with the press company to make sure I understand what the ground rules are of what I can and can't show. A perfect example is that I was actually at the press event on Wednesday, and right before the press event, they actually said, okay, you can take pictures of the stage, but we're going to have some monitors showing some images, and they asked us not to take pictures of those and not to publicize those, please. And in fact, on those slides, it actually said, like, confidential. And when you see that, you realize, yeah, I probably shouldn't take pictures of that. Now, to make it even more complex, unless you sign an NDA or something when you enter the event, it's not legally binding, okay? I could actually go to that event, stream the whole thing, and put it on the internet, and not even through YouTube, and there's not much Hasbro can do other than not invite me to the event ever again. That's about the most they can possibly do. So what happened is, during the event, I was taking pictures, and I really wanted to show them. And in fact, what I did is I actually wrote the PR company, and I said, what am I allowed to show? Now, actually at the event, while I was sitting there, and then they sent me a press release package of images of, like, all these, like, professional images of, like, what the new monster stat block looks like, images from the new upcoming Dungeon Master's Guide, things like that. And I immediately wrote back to them. I said, okay, is there an embargo on these images, or can I show them right away? And they wrote back to me and they said, share all you want. And so there you go. So I knew exactly where I stood. Is that, okay, what I was able to infer is that, yes, I could take pictures of the event itself, and that the only pictures I should show, which, by the way, the pictures in the press folder were mostly the same pictures as being shown at the event, is, okay, those are the pictures I should show. And I did. And that's the proper way to do it. And in fact, what happened this week is just yesterday, Professor Dungeon Master asked me to borrow a copy of this book so he can do a review. And I warned him, I said, and this actually happened before the Jordan PH strike came out, I said, be careful, don't show pictures of stats, don't show spells, don't show anything that either hasn't been publicly shown, or maybe it might be safe to show some art. But otherwise, I wouldn't chance it, because this is really early, and people will take pictures and screenshots of the book and try to assemble a PDF. I know it sounds insane, but I've seen it happen before, especially for a product this hot that isn't coming out for a couple more weeks. So, what is the takeaway from this? Well, the takeaway is that it just sounds like this was a lot of miscommunication on both parts. Is that I don't blame the YouTubers, because they might not have known that this is kind of standard practice, not to actually show sections of a book that might not be, publicly available. And, or maybe they didn't check with them, or I could be completely wrong. Maybe they actually I wasn't actually part of that group. Maybe they got an actual letter saying, oh yeah, you can go crazy and send anything you want, and just, like, flip through the book and show every single page, in which case then WoTC is completely at the wrong. But for those of you out there who ever want to do like a flip through, or those of you right now who were at Gen Con, who are watching this video and got this book and is thinking of actually doing like a flip through and showing every page, don't do it, okay? You're going to get a copyright strike notice and it's going to get taken down, okay? 100% they're going to do that, especially if you know, or you're just someone who was there and didn't get written permission ahead of time. Now, to make matters even more complex, is I blame WoTC because they released the book and they released it to the public. You see, if they just released it to the YouTubers, then they had complete control over it. But they sold 3,000 of these suckers at Gen Con. It's out in the wild. So all bets are off. This can be shown like crazy, okay? If I wanted to, I'm not going to do it. I could actually flip through every single page of this book and show it, and I don't have to do it on YouTube. Now, is there recourse against this? Yes, there is. That's actually not kind of legal. I wouldn't actually do that if I were you, or, well, anyone really. But the point is that it's just a mess. The point is, this is a mess. Is that right during their moment of triumph, where WoTC actually seemed to really get their stuff together, they did a really good job at Gen Con. I thought it was a lot of fun. They did a great big celebration of D&D. The press event was really nice, actually. I've been to a lot of those, and that actually was one of the best ones I've been to. The swag bag was great that they gave out afterwards. They obviously gave us all a free version of the Players Handbook, and then I got a few more during my time at the con. And now they have all these previews coming out and reviews, and they're really positive. And then they do the strike notice. So I guess we're going to have to follow up and see what happens with this. But for now, just be aware that, if you see reviews and people are flipping through the books in detail, that's probably going to be coming down very soon. As for myself, once again, do subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be giving out 4 of these books over the next month. I'm going to give out 1 a week for the next 4 weeks, and maybe I'll give away my 5th one. We'll see. So just subscribe to the channel and make sure you watch us live on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and I'll give instructions on how you too can get one of these books for free. And there's no catch. Just subscribe, and then we'll figure out a way to distribute them. And then if I select you, I'll send you the book. That's it. I can't use 5 books, and I got them on purpose because I wanted to give them out to people. So anyhow, with that, I will see and talk to you later about my adventures at Gen Con and more.